What's up, YouTube? Sorry it's been a minute for any updates. I've been doing stuff, just nothing worthy of posting. Progress has been slow. The weather here is just not been cooperative. It's 45 degrees in the garage right now, and the heater's been running all morning. This garage has got poor insulation in it, and there's a lot of steel and stuff in here that kind of, once it gets cold, it keeps it like an ice box. It stays cold. So it takes a while for the garage heater to get it warmed up. And then on top of it, my old bones can't take, 40 degrees for a couple hours on end. So I get a couple hours in here and there, and then I got to stop. To make matters worse, is my whole weekend last week was shot to hell from working on my wife's car. Her alternator took a shit. It was 10 degrees or something that weekend, and on top of it, we had a little lull in the snowstorms. So I had to pull her car in the garage, and that meant the Nova had to go sit out in the driveway. So I taped it all up in plastic, pushed it out. I've got a little bit of a video that I recorded for it. I'll just post it up over here of what I'm talking about. But yeah, I taped it up, pushed it in the driveway, and then spent 2 days freaking around with her car. And then, as you can see here, it's back in the garage. We'll get to some of the little things that have happened over the last month when I could work on it, and then we're going to talk about what we're doing here in the future. So, yeah, I got that crank pulley off. That was about a month ago I did that. Got this little tool off Amazon. All you LS guys that know what the hell you're doing know of tools like this. I've seen guys make them. I didn't have the raw materials to make it myself, so I just looked on Amazon. $30, 2-day shipping. There you go. For those of you who don't know how this works, it's 2 bolts. It bolts up to the starter location, and then this little teeth section here lock onto the flywheel to keep the motor from spinning over. You can use it for removal or installation of the crank bolts. Or crank bolt. I then cut up the crank bolt to fit through the face of the pulley because it's got a washer style head on it. Cut it up so that it would fit through the pulley to use the 3-jaw puller to pull it all off. And I forgot to order the timing chain with all my little parts that I'll get to here in a second. But yeah, I'd say that I need a new timing chain set. Yeah. Motors live the hard life, 170 plus thousand miles. I pretty much guarantee that's the factory timing chain. So in that, I loosened all the rockers so that nothing would get in the motor. Pulled the valley cover off, of course the valve covers and the front timing cover to clean them all up. If you look here, I'll show this to you on the valve covers as well, but I took a file and a DA sander and I sanded down the casting edge. It's just an extra little thing to do to make them look nicer, especially after you paint them, or like I said, I used to do powder coating, and I did that all the time for guys that wanted to pay a little extra to have a little nicer finish. Because what happens when the motor's been in the car for a while, let's see if I can get the camera to focus, is these little casting edges, there you go, hold on to all the dirt and crud and grease and shit, and it just makes it look that much worse. So you can paint it, and then a couple months later it looks like that. So I didn't clean this one up because I was originally going to buy the whole cover because of the seals and gaskets and everything are all part of it. But it was like $70 and the gaskets were only a few bucks. So I was like, I'll just buy the gaskets. That's probably going to bite me in the butt because now I got to buy a tool to make sure it's all centered properly and whatever. But it is what it is. So we're at a little bit of a standstill. I have most of the parts minus the timing chain that I just said. New oil pump, new crank bolts, assembly lube, billet barbell, new lifter trays because these are worn out. That bag's a bunch of lifters. I think they're the LS7 style lifters, and a bunch of gaskets and stuff. I've also got the cam retaining plate with the gasket. Thank you, Billy, for posting that because I would have probably missed that. What I'm stuck on is which cam I'm putting in this car. I was kind of set on the Comp 459, or it's the 54-459-11 is the full part number. But it was kind of set on the 459 cam. I liked its power and torque curve. I liked the little bit of a lope that it has at the idle, and it is kind of considered the largest cam you can kind of throw in this style, in a 6-liter with the factory type heads, piston to valve clearance, right? I liked that cam. That's like $470 is the cheapest I can find it. But I did some further research and it said, oh, you need these. It's recommended, or it's not recommended. It's designed to work with a specific style valve spring. So I was like, all right, I'll look those up. I was shooting for like the Pac 12 18s or something. That turns out the valve springs they recommend are like $330. It was like, oh, that and the cam, I'm looking at like over $900 for a cam swap. And my inner cheap ass stopped me from pulling the trigger on it. So my loyal YouTube subscribers and viewers, do me a favor. Recommend me what I should do as far as a cam for this motor. The goal is I'd like to have over 400 rear wheel horsepower through the 4L80E. I prefer to not have to throw a high stall converter in it. I don't want to create a shitload of heat. This car is going to be driven on it's going to be a street car. And I'd like a good mid-range and low-end power band with a little bit on the top end. Nothing crazy. I'm not looking for something like a drag race motor where it's only got power above 4,000 RPMs all the way to like 65 or 6,800 RPM. I'm looking for something that's got some decent power down low and a good mid-range band, which is why I like that 459 cam. Now I know there's some others out there, and I know a lot of guys put in like Chop Monsters and all these other radical lift, not radical lift, but radical idling cams. Yeah, I want a cam that's got some lope to it. I want it to know that there's a cam in there. This is a 70s muscle car. I want it to sound pretty decent when it's running, right? But I'm not looking for something that's just a chop and piss poor auto quality where I need a 3600 plus stall to drive around in. So give me your recommendation, guys. Tell me what you think. And if you think, hey, the 459 cam plus those springs are the way to go, tell me in the comments. Cap, suck it up and just freaking do it, right? Just give me your thoughts. Tell me what I should do. But for now, this is going to have to take a back seat because until I get those parts, I'm not going to do anything with this. I'm just going to throw the bag back over it and leave it for the time being. I've now got to switch gears, not only because I'm missing parts, or I'm waiting on parts. There's another little change of plans is I've got to get this car in epoxy as soon as possible. First off, just because it's flash rusting, that 2 days it sat in the driveway, even covered, did not help it. And secondly, it may have to be moved here the next couple months, and then it might have to sit for a few more months after that. We talked about moving it, and it's going to take a little bit to pack up my house and move to a new place and then unpack everything. And of course, there's going to be a honey-do list a mile long. So I need to get it thrown on epoxy in, but before I can do that, I've got to finish, or mostly finish, the metal work. I'm never going to get it 100%. I'm not going to find all the spots that I need to fix until I go to actually do body work. But I do know there's a lot of metal work that still needs to be done. And I need to get that done so that when I go to epoxy, I don't have to sand off half the car to fix the metal work to do the body work. So I want to get the metal work 99% done as much as I can now, so that when I go to epoxy it come end of April, somewhere in that range, when it's going to be about 50-ish, 60-ish degrees outside, I'll throw the heater on, get up to 70 degrees in the garage, kill off some of the humidity, and I'll just throw a couple coats of epoxy on it, keep it from flash rusting, and then I can load the car up full of all of its shit, throw it on a trailer, and it'll probably be an open car trailer, so again, you need epoxy on it, and move it to its new location. And then of course it's going to sit for a little bit till I can get time and focus to get back to it. So that's kind of the game plan. So I gotta switch gears from working on mechanicals back to doing some metal work. So till then, I'll keep posting videos of what I'm working on and everything that's happening there. But throw me your suggestions, guys. What do you think? I appreciate everybody that's been watching, and I even appreciate knowing there's some people that are like, "Hey, Cap, where are the updates?" All right, here's the update. Sorry, it's not that exciting. Sorry, it's not that much content, but thank you for being loyal and watching. I appreciate it. I'll catch you next time, guys. Thanks.